dollar. Dirt and money, no soul. Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack of flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.
Yup, what's good, original crew? We back on the channel. More Mr. Ballen. We got the devious mission the government tried to hide. Now, let's all be real. Yo, my conspiracy theories. My conspiracy theories. The people that believe in conspiracy.
I was like, get it out, baby. Get it out.
Hey, shout out to y'all. Y'all know. The government always hides.
Baby.
Y'all know what I'm talking about, man. So, with that being said, we ain't gonna hold y'all, man. Make sure you check out the links in the description.
Down below.
You already know where to go, man. You want the first part, you gotta do it, check out down below. Also, if you enjoyed today's video,
look it with a thumbs up.
We highly appreciate it. My bad. I jumped the ball that time, and I did. I apologize. It is what it is. So, with that being said, man, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Let's check it out. Let's see what Ballen. Hopefully, we got a good one, man. Sometimes, lately, Ballen been a little, if you know. No, because I seen somebody call it out in the comments, and they were like, they wish he'd go back to the old style when he was uploading like 4 or 5, and they were good.
Yeah.
Like all of them was good. They had you cliffhangers and everything. That was like lately the videos have been a little.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Mm-hmm. Let's go.
There are many truly unbelievable stories that have come from World War II, from heroes performing superhuman feats on the battlefield to unspeakable tragedies that occurred at massive scale. These stories, for better or worse, are part of our collective human history, and so today they're shared widely. But there is one story from World War II that doesn't get talked about very much, and it doesn't really make any sense because, one, it's totally fascinating, and two, it is quite possibly the most influential singular event that happened in the entire war. And so today, I'm going to share that story, and at the end of it, if you've never heard this before, very likely you're going to go on Google and look this up, because it sounds more like a fictional movie plot than real life. But before we get into that story, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you come to the right place because that's all we do, and we upload once a week. So, if that's of interest to you, the next time the like button lets you look through their prized 1970s family photo album, make sure you aggressively lick your finger and flip the pages each time so you smudge all the edges. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. Okay, let's get into today's story. On the morning of April 30th, 1943, a fisherman named Jose Antonio Rey Maria rowed his little boat out into the rough waters of the Atlantic Ocean just off the coast of Spain. Jose was a sardine spotter, which meant his job was to go out into the ocean and look down and try to find schools of sardines swimming about 20 feet below the surface, and then he would flag the other fishermen over who would scoop the fish up with their nets. And Jose was very good at his job. In fact, he was quite possibly the best sardine spotter in the whole village of Punta Umbria, which is a small fishing village in southwestern Spain where Jose was from. But on this particular day, the weather wasn't quite great, the water was kind of murky and choppy, and so Jose wasn't seeing any sardines. But as Jose was starting to feel frustrated, he looked out, and on the surface of the water, pretty far away from him, he saw this strange object floating on the surface. And at first, he assumed it had to be maybe some dead sea animal that had floated to the surface. But as he stared at it from his boat that was rocking in the water, he saw between waves there was a yellow color on this lump that just looked kind of unnatural. And so, feeling curious about whatever this was, Jose decided to start rowing over in that direction in and get a better look. And as he got closer and closer, he realized that yellow color was unnatural. The yellow was part of a life jacket, which meant this was a person floating in the ocean. And so Jose, with his heart now racing, was thinking, oh my gosh, I have to go save this person. And so he raced over right up alongside them, and as soon as he looked down, he realized it was obviously too late. This person was obviously deceased. It was a man who had a military trench coat on who was lying face down in the water. And so Jose reached into the water and rolled the guy over, and immediately he was hit with this horrible smell, and then he looked at the face of this dead person and he was horrified. The guy's eyes were sunken into his skull, he had mold growing on his chin, bones were exposed, and it almost looked like the dead guy's face was trapped in this kind of ghastly expression, as if the last thing he experienced was horrifying before he died. And then Jose noticed there was something else about this corpse. There was a chain wrapped around his wrist, and that chain extended deep into the water. And so Jose grabbed the chain and began reeling it back in, and eventually he pulled out this big black briefcase that had a code on the top of it that you would need to enter in order to open it. Now, for context, at this time in Europe, World War II was raging from Britain to Russia. And so there were literally thousands of dead corpses scattered all over the world, basically, around the areas where fighting was taking place. So at this time, finding a dead soldier floating out in the middle of the ocean was actually not that uncommon. But in Spain, where Jose was, this was uncommon because Spain had not entered World War II. They were a neutral country. And so because there was no fighting happening there, there should not have been any dead soldiers floating just off their coastline. And so Jose stared transfixed at this dead soldier in his briefcase for a couple more moments, and then he kind of broke out of it and turned and yelled to the other fishermen who were out there in another boat and tried to flag them over to help get this corpse out of the water. But the other fishermen, when they realized what Jose was asking them to do, they said, no, we're not helping you with that. We're not touching the dead body. And so Jose just grabbed the dead body with one arm, and then awkwardly with his other arm, he managed to row this boat and drag along this corpse all the way back to the beach. And as he did, he and the other fishermen were kind of yelling back and forth at each other. It was kind of a commotion on the water. And so by the time Jose had got the corpse back to shore and dragged it up onto the sand, villagers in Punta Umbria had heard the commotion and come outside to see what was going on. And they saw Jose standing there with this dead body. And so they began forming a crowd around the body. And so nearby, Spanish soldiers were doing a training exercise, and they saw this crowd gathering on the beach. And so a group of them walked over to see what was going on, and they pushed through the crowd and they saw this dead body on the ground, and right away they began searching the dead body to figure out who it was.
I was going to ask you, would you have help?
Would I have if I was Jose?
No, if you were one of the other fishermen.
Oh yeah, I would have helped.
Why?
I just would have helped. That's just.
I'm just saying because at the end of the day, like you said, Spain's a neutral country, right?
Yeah.
But them being a neutral country, you know a war going on.
I mean, I get that.
And then you probably see the chain.
So what was we supposed to do? Just leave him in the water? Is that we were just gonna leave him in and just ignore? I'm just gonna ignore that I seen this dead body in this briefcase. I
guess your human sympathy kicks in, and you like let's.
Me being me, I'm gonna help. We're gonna figure everything else out later. But right now, I'm helping.
But what you think could possibly be in that briefcase, though?
Some secrets that don't nobody want. Well, whoever I don't know who put the briefcase.
What the hell is he doing on that side? With the secret briefcase, unless he was in a plane and he crashed.
Who knows? Who knows?
You know what I'm saying?
Know,
like
right,
maybe he got shot down or.
Yeah, but maybe something's in there. Some secrets that someone don't want someone else knowing.
Yeah, we all know. We all know that part.
But who?
They began searching the dead body to figure out who it was. And when the Spanish soldiers found his identification papers, they learned that his name was William Martin, and he was a major in the British Royal Marines. Also on these papers, it said that Major Martin was assigned to the Combined Operation Headquarters in London, which the Spanish soldiers knew was an outpost that organized commando raids on Nazi-held territory. Under Major Martin's military trench coat, when the soldiers opened it up, they saw he was dressed in full kit, full battle gear, which suggested he had died during one of these commando raids. But after the Spanish soldiers had removed his gear, they couldn't find any shrapnel wounds or gunshot wounds. And so the running theory was, he must have been flying over this area and maybe his plane was shot down, and that's why we can't figure out how he died. But the Spanish soldiers had not heard any reports of a plane being shot down right off the coast. And so really they had no idea how Major Martin actually came to be here. Then, one of the Spanish soldiers who was still searching Major Martin's pockets found in one of them some crumpled papers and a photograph. And after he looked at them, he tapped on his commanding officer's shoulder and showed him. The photo was black and white, and it was this pretty young woman, and on the back of it, it was signed Pam. As for the crumpled papers that had been near this photo, they were bills. One was from a London nightclub from 3 nights earlier, and the other was a receipt for a diamond engagement ring. Now, these Spanish soldiers were not overly emotional, but they couldn't help but think how kind of sad it was that, Major Martin obviously was in love with this woman Pam, and they must have just gotten engaged, and now he's dead. It's like a tragic love story. And so the soldier who had found these bills and this photo folded them back up and tucked them back inside of Major Martin's pockets, and then the soldiers talked about what they should do next. Now, technically, because Spain was a neutral country, what they were supposed to do was turn this body back over to the British, because he was a British soldier. But the Spanish government was run by a fascist dictator, Francisco Franco, who was not really neutral at all. He was actually secretly aligned with the Nazis. In fact, the Nazis' leader, Adolf Hitler, had helped Franco come to power, and so now that he was in power, he regularly shared secrets with the Germans. And so when these Spanish soldiers eventually contacted their higher-ups to ask what to do with this dead British soldier, their superiors told them, do not give Major Martin's body back to the British. Instead, bring his body to a nearby morgue where agents who worked for Franco would be able to inspect the body and open up that briefcase and see what was inside. And so these Spanish soldiers did as they were told. And when Franco's agents were able to finally pop open that black briefcase that was connected to Major Martin's wrist, they discovered inside 3 letters from leaders of the British military. And when Franco's agents read these letters, they knew right away they had discovered something incredible. And within days, these letters were sitting right on Adolf Hitler's desk. Now, at this time, in April of 1943, Hitler was starting to worry that he was about to lose the war. Even though the Nazis had successfully conquered most of Europe, it felt like the tide was turning against them. And in Hitler's mind, it was starting to seem likely that the Americans and the British were poised to launch some sort of massive attack on Nazi-controlled territory, and if they weren't ready for it, this could cost them the war. But Hitler had no idea where this major Allied attack was going to happen. And so trying to figure that out was basically the biggest priority the Nazis had at the time. Now, most of Hitler's intelligence suggested that this big major Allied attack was going to take place on Sicily, which is an Italian island. Italy was allied with the Nazis, and Nazi spies who were monitoring British and American phone conversations were hearing lots of chatter about an invasion of Sicily, and so that's why they believed that's got to be the place. That's where the attack's going to happen. But when Hitler looked at these 3 letters that were found inside of Major Martin's briefcase, everything changed. The letters, which were all signed...
This does actually make you want to go back and do some research, bro. I swear, I'm listening to this and I'm like, bro, I gotta look some shit up, bro. Because I'm like, damn, y'all motherfuckers sneaky. Which is, they always say there's no rules in war.
Yeah.
But it's like you feel as though there's morals, but a lot of people don't have morals, and that's the reason why you go to war. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta do some research.
Of Major Martin's briefcase, everything changed. The letters, which were all signed by top leaders of the British military, said that the plans to attack Sicily were actually fake, that British and American forces were talking on these obviously tapped phone lines. They knew the Nazis were listening. They were talking on these lines about this invasion of Sicily just to confuse the Nazis. They wanted the Nazis to think that Sicily is the place. But, as these letters would go on to explain, the real place, the real location of this huge Allied attack was going to be Nazi-controlled Greece, so 500 miles away. And so as Hitler is reading this, he's terrified because in his mind, he always thought Greece was really the Nazis' weakest link. And so to get this intelligence, it was the equivalent of like winning the lottery. Suddenly, Hitler went from having no idea where this huge attack on him was going to be to knowing exactly where it was going to be and knowing that he would have the time to shore up his weakest link, Greece. And so on May 12th, 1943, less than 2 weeks after Jose the sardine spotter found Major Martin's body floating off the coast of Punta Umbria, Hitler sent a military directive to all of his leaders to prepare for a huge Allied attack, not on Sicily, but on Greece. And before long, German tanks were rumbling from southern France to Greece, and tens of thousands of German soldiers were setting up barriers on Greek beaches to repel the invasion. And then out at sea, the famous German U-boats, their submarines, which were so deadly during World War II, were out all over the place, getting ready to shoot any Allied ships that came towards the shore. In short, the Nazis were ready. But by July 9th, so 2 months later, nothing had happened. There had been no major Allied attack on Greece, on Sicily, or anywhere else for that matter. Meanwhile, back in Sicily on July 9th, one of the few soldiers who was still stationed there, because remember, all those soldiers had been pushed to Greece, one of the few remaining soldiers was in his bunk writing a letter to his mother, and he would detail that it just felt too quiet in Sicily. And after he had written this letter, signed it, and put it away, he heard out.
What if there was another slick strategy, though? What if
that was all part of the plan?
No. Do you sacrifice? You don't sacrifice a soldier for that, though. Because he's dead. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean. You talking about the one that they found?
Yeah, Major Martin.
Yeah.
He's a major.
Yeah, but okay, I don't know.
I guess after he didn't make it to wherever he was supposed to go, then they was like, okay, they possibly, so plans have changed. You get what I'm saying? Or are y'all always viewing shit?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I don't know. This is like war tactics are so strategically placed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
most definitely. I don't know. I'm just like, cause I'm ready for like the
big. I got you.
Quiet in Sicily. And after he had written this letter, signed it, and put it away, he heard outside a massive booming sound. And so he ran outside and he looked in horror towards the horizon. Now, instead of being a beautiful, clear blue, it was black with smoke and warships as far as the eye could see. He couldn't even count the number of warships on the horizon. And they were all coming right towards Sicily, firing their cannons and guns. This was the big Allied attack. It was on Sicily. The few soldiers in Sicily who came out of their bunkers and looked out and saw this knew right away that they were so ridiculously outnumbered that there was absolutely no hope. And so the soldier who had just written to his mother about how calm it seemed here, along with several others who was standing near him, they immediately just took off their uniforms and ran. And soon the other soldiers on the island began coming out of their cover.
Would you have did the same thing?
Hell yeah. If I was in their shoes and I wasn't,
Saying somebody who thought about joining the military. But you supposed to stand up and fight.
No, that's a difference.
Okay,
that's different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is totally different because y'all threw them off they whole little, you know what I'm saying? Y'all sent all y'all soldiers to, like, come on. Hell yeah, I'm taking my shit off and I'm about to blend in with everybody else, every other civilian, because ain't no way I'm about to fight all y'all.
So you just gonna bitch out, huh?
I'm gonna bitch out. Because ain't no way.
That seemed
Y'all
here,
got it.
along with several others who was standing near him, they immediately just took off their uniforms and ran. And soon the other soldiers on the island began coming out of their cover and seeing they were under attack, and most of them did the same thing. Everybody basically ran away. And so the British and the Americans that were coming on warships barely had to fight. They took over Sicily incredibly easily, and within a few weeks, the Allies had complete control over the island, and the Italian government had been overthrown. Hitler had thought this secret intelligence he had found inside of Major Martin's briefcase would help him win the war. But in reality, those letters actually proved to be the beginning of the end for the Nazis. It would turn out Major William Martin, the dead British soldier that Jose the sardine spotter found off the coast of Punta Umbria, Spain, was not really who he appeared to be. In reality, Major William Martin didn't exist. The body definitely existed. That was a real dead body, but the identification of the body was fake. It had been fabricated by two very smart British intelligence officers named Ewan Montague and Charles Chumley as part of their very famous operation called Operation Mincemeat. And this operation was truly one of a kind. It was designed entirely to trick Hitler. The Allies knew if they dropped a dead British soldier off the coast of Spain, a neutral country, that they would turn it over to the Germans. And that's exactly what happened. And so everything that was on the fake Major's body, from the trench coat to the kit he was wearing to the identification papers, the receipts, the photos, all of it was placed very intentionally to convince the Germans that Major Martin was real. Major Martin was given a high enough military rank that it kind of made sense that he might be carrying this really special briefcase with highly classified military secrets, but his rank was not high enough that he would be known in military circles, because that would make it too easy for the Germans to identify that this was fake. And for the same reason, Montague and Chumley gave their fake major a very common name, Bill Martin. There were loads of Martins in the British military at the time, making a fake one hard to spot. But the British intelligence officers knew that they couldn't just present this kind of basic, generic British soldier and trick the entire German military. They needed to give him a backstory. And so Chumley and Montague spent as much time on Major Martin's uniform and what he was wearing as they did on his fake love affair with Pam. Montague and Chumley had a woman on their staff write these phony love letters to Major Martin, pretending to be Pam, and she wrote in beautiful curling penmanship, talking about how difficult it was to be in love with him during a war. And then also Chumley and Montague got that receipt for the diamond engagement ring, along with the nightclub receipt from just a couple of days earlier, and they tucked that into his pocket, really making it feel like this tragic love story. And so it was a combination of all of these details that have been thought through so carefully by these intelligence officers that really made Major Martin seem 100% real. As for the real identification of the dead body, it belonged to a 34-year-old homeless man from London named Glendor Michael. Michael had lived this wretched, miserable life and then eventually died when he ate rat poison that was on a piece of bread. We don't know if he tried to kill himself or if it was accidental. Michael's body had been stored in a refrigerator in a morgue unclaimed for months when Montague and Chumley found out about him and decided he would be perfect because no one would notice if his body went missing. And so ultimately, Operation Mincemeat was a massive success. Hitler completely mistook a homeless man from London for a relatively high-ranking British military officer carrying international secrets on his wrist, and it cost Hitler the war. Glendor Michael may have lived a wretched life and died in absolute agony, but in death, he helped defeat the Nazis. Today, there is a marker on Glendor Michael's grave in Spain that actually denotes him as an official British military officer. As for Montague and Chumley, they were quickly promoted after Operation Mincemeat and then ultimately became famous for their plot. So that's going to do it. If you got something out of today's story...
Yo, hey, we apologize. The previous audio we had discussing this was corrupted. Don't know what happened, so we got to circle back and give our thoughts and opinions on this story because at the end of the day, I don't know what happened though.
Yeah,
I don't know. There you go. But we checked it out. Y'all might hear a little static towards the end of the original video. Again, we apologize.
Yeah.
Don't know what happened in the video. It just when life gives you lemons, you gotta make lemonade. That's all. But we're here to revisit and redo our spiel about what we previously saw. But with the situation, I think it was a smart strategy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it was a good diversion. Mm-hmm. It's just like I said in the previous recording, I just felt some type of way about them taking a body.
Yeah.
And I like, cause you like, for one, he's a dead person. Like nobody, and then y'all just use him for y'all ploy.
Yeah, I was like, oh, no one's gonna be looking for him. He's a homeless man.
And that's
9 out of 10. Don't have any family. Oh, yeah, this is perfect.
But I do like how y'all honor him. After the fact.
Yeah, after the fact, y'all was like, okay, we're gonna use him. We're gonna get the body back, and we're gonna do what we need to do. But I'd be like, damn, let me rest in peace. I already done, you know.
I couldn't get peace while on earth. Let me get
at least let me get it, you know.
But also, I believe, you know what I'm saying, I just think Hitler jumped the gun. I really feel like, you know what I'm saying, like I said previously, I really feel like it was his own ego. Yeah. Because and again, I haven't looked up the whole World War II, like the full background of Hitler and everything. Because I was always like, he's a negative person, he's a bad person. I've seen people vouch for Hitler, and I'm just like, and the people I've seen that vouch for him, I'm like.
But you know what you just said, like with it being his ego, and with the two guys. Thank you. With the two guys that like they've been studying him, they've been studying how he moves, they've been studying like their whole operation and how they
knew how he would respond.
They knew how he responds, so they was like, we're going to work that, we're going to use this to our advantage, and we're going to take over.
That was clever though, bruh.
Yeah.
That was like to even think about, cause like some should have like clicked in Spain's head was like, why would a body be here? Mm-hmm. Like, why would a soldier's body? And we didn't hear any explosions.
Nothing.
Didn't hear gunfire. Didn't see nothing happen. Are we able to go out into the sea and see if there's any kind of debris from the crash?
Yeah.
Because obviously, if he's dead, so the plane and parts of it or something has to be around.
Or did they think maybe someone just flew over it and dumped him out and he went into the water?
Nah, because you would have grabbed the briefcase off him. But
that probably was the thing. They
you would have still cut the briefcase.
But I'm saying yeah.
Because you don't dump him in the ocean with a briefcase with classified information and just let him be. Because even if let me say this: if he was with other British people and he died, he would have they would have still got the briefcase off him. Also, if he was with listen before he's trying to speak.
Go ahead.
But also, if you are the enemy, you don't let him escape with the briefcase still connected to him.
Right, exactly. So I think you're missing my point. It's the fact that y'all didn't think that through. Why would he be here with this briefcase on him with this information? That's the point I'm trying to make. Like what you're saying, if that would actually happen, why would y'all let that, that information out or him have that briefcase before cutting it off of him, before dumping him? But I'm saying with them not thinking that through, it didn't make sense. Yeah. Is what I'm saying. So it was like, and they knew that with the Spain soldiers or whatever finding the body, they were like,
cause they already had the peep game of what side Spain was playing anyway. Even though you tried to say, "Hey, we're neutral," I'm sure somebody been watching
your leader
and your character, how y'all y'all character have shown throughout the war.
Right.
Like, even though y'all saying y'all neutral, y'all not playing a neutral game.
Fact.
And because for them to even know that y'all will recover the body, and they have already been watching y'all.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, a dead body was the count. And how the fuck did y'all not even think that? Hey, his body looked more decomposed or more like I understand the body was frozen. You know what I'm saying? I don't like looking at dead bodies. That's not my forte. But from the description of how his body looked, just didn't make it seem as though he had just recently died. And I guess the fact that he was in the water face down would have made his body, but it's still something in my head like common sense, common knowledge. The body should possibly look like it was dead longer than it has supposed to have been. Mm-hmm. You get what I mean?
No. I get what you're saying.
Because I understand the body was kept frozen in the freezer, but it still don't seem right.
Yeah. I guess with the body situation, I guess I won't like be stuck on that per se, but that was on them to be like, okay, we got these receipts. We see that he was at this. What was it?
Like a club,
a bar, club, whatever,
yeah, something like that.
Like a few days before. How did he end up here? He done proposed to Pam, his lover.
But he's in the military, so that part, like, he just writing letters. So
no.
And maybe after the war, he was planning on getting married after the war.
Yeah, I'm just saying, y'all have these receipts, y'all have these dates. Like, y'all be like, the body, the dates, it just don't. Y'all be like cross-reference.
The only thing that the I think would have been like a smoke flag was him being in a bar club area. A few days prior to him being in this position. I think, but the letters to Pam and stuff, I don't think that just was trying to build the fact that he was like.
Well, not the letters per se. I'm talking about the receipt for the ring. I'm pretty sure that had a date on there. Like, did y'all? My thing is, why didn't you cross-reference? One, make sure that this was a real person.
Like Ballen said, the name. You gotta understand the name is a common name. It's William Martin. I'm sure everybody can. Oh, Bill, your name's Bill. Come on, you know what I'm saying? And your last name Martin. Yeah. That's like if his name was William Smith. Mother, it's so many. Honestly, it's too many.
Right. But honestly, thinking about it now, I'm like.
And his position in the military.
True, and I'm like, really, you're not thinking. You're really not thinking to cross-reference anything. Everything else fits.
It's just the only thing that, like I said, the post-mortem of the body.
Yeah.
It's a date of the receipt of him being in a bar club area. That's the only thing you could have went off and said, hey, this don't add up. Other than that, everything possibly do add up.
But it could have. He could have been like.
Nah.
It possibly.
Just 3 days prior. No. 3 days ain't long.
I mean, but you out exposed to the sun.
And that's the reason why I said I don't like looking at dead body while they preserve. So damn well I don't know what dead body that's been floating in the sea.
How's the weather in April? Anyway, you like exposed. You just out in the open. You know what I'm saying?
When this first started, so it was like May.
Okay,
it was May when they.
May.
No, May when they. I forgot the dates.
Okay.
Even though I took notes, I forgot the dates.
May, whatever. Still.
But also, I'll say this. I ask you this: would you have took all of your? Well, I guess you are in war, but would you have left Sicily that open and exposed the way Hitler did?
I would have I wouldn't took everyone. Like, you left a couple behind, but those couple were like.
They on your type of level.
They like.
They're like boo boo.
We outnumbered.
Like
I know I signed up for this,
but I ain't
trying to go out like that. You know what I'm saying?
So you saying you just would have bitched out for real? Just be like, man.
If that's what you want to call it, I'm just being smart because we outnumbered. You know, my bad. We outnumbered. I already know that this is not going to end well.
Yeah.
I'm about to play my card smart.
Yeah.
Like, we'll think about all the other stuff later. I don't know. I don't know what consequences like they did to them.
Yeah,
Because,
yeah,
with them like
yeah.
just stripping and whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. But at this moment, I'm out. I'm out of there. We about to blend in. Because I ain't going out like that. That's sad.
Yeah, it's sad, man. The whole situation.
I ain't going out like that.
I will have to do more research personally on this whole situation. And I wonder, with this event, like, how did it lead to the results of the World War II? You get what I'm saying? What impact from this one situation affected, like, how did it really affect the outcome of the World War? Not Civil. Did I say Civil War?
No, you said World War.
I meant World. If I did, apologize.
You said World War.
But I wonder, like, how big of an effect did it impact World War II and the ending of it?
Yeah.
Because if it was played that big of a role, that is very key. And you got to think about shit like that. Like, that is strategy. And shout out to the British, man. Y'all did one on that one. You know what I'm saying? Hey, because who knows if that information was really classified and he really was ready, and what would have took place if it was
if it went the other way around.
Yeah. Or if y'all wasn't able to get them and y'all only option was to attack Sicily and they were prepared for you like they previously were.
Before getting those letters. Yeah. And they like changed their whole strategy and operation. Yeah. And picked up and took all his soldiers to Greece.
But that's his ego though. His ego didn't even give him a chance to even like look into really like
we done hit the jackpot. Let's go.
Facts, man. He was just eager.
We done hit the jackpot. Let's go. But yeah.
Hey, man. With that being said, y'all let us know y'all thoughts and opinions in the comments. Y'all let us know how y'all feel about this situation. I think it was genius. I think it's very smart.
Yeah, it was definitely played out well. Yeah.
And I don't think I could have came up with something like that. Like, you know how some people like really know how to play the chess game in life? Like, that's really what's chess game of life.
You know something, when you say that, but when you put in situations, you never know what you can come up with. Like, when that's all that you do. It's you know, yeah.
But I'm just saying, like.
But right now, because you're not thinking like that, so yeah.
But when you, I ain't gonna hold you. But when you do have like somebody you like might be in a little altercation with, you do try to outthink them. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
In any situation.
Like, but a lot of people. But the thing is, a lot of people don't think like this. Some people just want to go ahead and act. Yeah. And they don't think the process through. They like, all right, I'm trying to be me. I'm a very strategic person because I know if I act, you never know what the true outcome might be. But if you sit there and think about it and you try to maneuver your way, you can majority of the time come out with the win. No matter what the situation is. Yeah. You gotta play the long game, not the short game.
Facts,
and that's what people fail to realize, man.
Yeah.
But hey, again, y'all let us know y'all thoughts. If y'all have any like deeper information, if you're someone who have known about this and know about this story and want to spread your knowledge, information, we're here for it.
Most definitely.
Free for I'm always open to new knowledge and information, so spam us up. But as always, y'all know how it go, man. I do go by the name DJ The Kid. This is we are.
Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack of flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money low, get my team strong. Get me run away.